Hello, everybody. We are live. Welcome to Sweetcast. We've got a special guest today. I know I'm running late, but he is not. We've got Mitch Breitweiser. Mitch, great to meet you.
Hello, it was nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. And then we've got the Vonster. I'm pushing the wrong way. Vonster here as well. Hello, hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Great to see you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Always a pleasure. Yeah, you always like you lubricate things very nicely, the conversation. So I appreciate that.
I get that a lot.
Well, it's
everyone
true.
lubed up and ready to do this.
Yeah, I wasn't going to go there, but I'm glad you did.
This is how I get it ready. You have to get it warm because if you put it on too fast, it's cold, kids. You got to get it warm in your hands first before use.
Yes, so, this is a man who speaks from experience here.
Whoa, look at my hands just sliding off each other. Oh, yeah.
Totally different. I was talking about cars.
Oh, sorry, wrong podcast.
Oh. Automotive. Just let's see. We've got story time with Yang Zan So. Hello, welcome. Mustache Club. I didn't think about that. Look at this. The mustaches are in the house.
This is our handshake.
I think it's like a new style. I don't know. We're starting a revolution.
It's hip.
Yeah, we're all hip here. We're all hip.
Jose is here. Hello. Yeah, it was funny. I was actually having this conversation today about how styles kind of change. And I remember the poofy vests that when I was in junior high, they were a thing. With pockets and everything. And then I saw one in my parents' closet. And I was like, whoa, those were a thing. That's so funny. Now, like I look at, the college students and they're wearing them like it's cool again. So
yeah, it came back. You can pull it out of the closet again, Clint.
I could. Oh, I forgot I'm still wearing my soy glasses.
Oh no.
Well, I don't know if Mitch remembers, but we had to survive through like acid wash jeans and like hypercolor shirts and like we had some bizarre trends over the years. Yeah. What's the old quote? Like people follow the trends religiously, but laugh at the trends of old.
Yeah.
It's like, it ends up coming back and being cool again. So
I'd wear a hypercolor shirt for sure if I could find one.
Let's bring them back.
Do it. Why
not? Red Rooster hypercolor T-shirt confirmed.
That sounds like a stretch.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
That would be
I wonder
fun.
if you could still get them made. I guess so. Maybe I should look into that.
Yeah. Anything can happen. I was just looking at Pogs. I was like, oh, that could be cool for a campaign. Found a manufacturer. They'll make slammers, custom slammers, everything. So
that's cool.
I was around when Pogs were a thing, and I still didn't get them then. So
yeah, I was very young, and I played them, and I remember they banned them at school. We couldn't play Pogs because it ended up being the whole point of the game is to steal your opponent's Pogs.
Oh, okay.
Didn't make people happy.
So it led to conflict. Yeah.
It was like gang warfare on the playground.
Yeah, people had switchblades and all sorts
of Pokemon with punches.
Don't take my Pog, man! It's my last Pog, buddy. If you did a stretch goal where you did a Garbage Pail Kid version of like something from your book, I would want that. I would like that.
The one thing we did look into that's not retro, but that is pretty cool and that you've seen. So we released these. We released one for Nora Week. We had Nora's Saga Week, which is one of our titles. Kelsey Shannon, Blake Northcott. We did this living cover thing. Did you see this? The animation where the cover just kind of comes alive in front of you.
Yes.
That was done by
I watched it over and over.
Oh, very cool.
Really cool.
Well, I found a manufacturer that would make lenticular trading cards, right? But in three, you can get three sequences. So as you move it, you get three different frames. So I wanted to do we were getting each cover done as a living cover. And the great guys at Manimations are doing this for us. Josh Van Houtren and Jeremy Fine doing a great job. Did an amazing job on that. But I wanted to do these cards, but like it just fiscally, they're kind of expensive to make, and you have to sell so many of them to make them like, it was way too risky, and I'm glad we didn't do it. But later we're gonna do it. We'll find a way.
Right,
to do it.
It's a good idea for the future. Put it in the idea bank.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I told them when I saw that animation, I was like, guys, this is amazing work. Like I could tell they really put a lot of passion into it and wanted to make something that genuinely stood out. And I thought that was great for a comic advertisement to,
Yeah,
to the next
dude, I
level
was
like
really
that.
impressed. They dove. It was. My ask was much more humble, and the delivery, like by the time I had seen the preview of it or the demo, I was like, okay, this is you guys are going above and beyond. This is going to be incredible and
so cool.
Way more than I asked for.
That's
but
great.
It's great. Yeah.
So, well, speaking of Nora's saga, Kelsey Shannon, he's fast becoming one of my favorite artists, not just because he's an amazing artist, but because he's just such a cool dude.
Yeah, he's
Kelsey
awesome.
Shannon's great.
Yeah, we've getting to know Kelsey over the last year has been just one of the great pleasures of my life, and he's going to be one of my lifelong friends. It's just awesome. You get a sense about a person, and then he presents himself just as he is. He's the same behind the camera as he is in front of it, and just very genuine talent and a genuine person. And he's a great guy.
How did you get connected with him? Was it all this internet stuff you got connected with him? Okay.
Yeah, it was just all through the explosion of what happened in 2018 on through 2019. So we met there, and we had met maybe previously once or twice briefly, maybe at a convention, but like we really didn't know each other at all. Nice. But we really click and connect on a lot of things.
Very cool. It's funny, kind of reminds me. So recently, I think this was Friday, I watched an interview of you at a comic convention, and it was like old. I think it was from 2011 or something, if I remember correctly. It was a while ago, but yeah, it was just kind of crazy to see, like, in the interview you were saying that, I hope I get put on a regular book or something like that. I wish I remembered some of these things, but it was just kind of funny to see, like, man, how things evolve over time, as you're just working and, doing books and everything. I don't know. It's just cool how things change. It was inspiring to me because I'm like, who knows, in the future where someone will find an old interview of me and be like, look at that guy. He's not a total, he's somebody. Yeah. Not that you weren't somebody at the time, but you know what I mean.
It's like, what I didn't expect to be, it's the way that the career has taken an interesting trajectory as of late. And it feels like I'm where I should be. So it's all good.
Yeah. Did, what was it like working in mainstream comics versus working on your own stuff?
Mainstream comics was, obviously this is way more complicated what we're doing now. Working in mainstream comics had its own complications and challenges, but really it was about finding your feet and just kind of, being able to control your pace and what you can do and just focus on your singular task and whatnot. But now we're in a situation where we're being pulled in 1,000 different directions. This is what we found ourselves. This is the way we found ourselves in the last year. And obviously, before Red Rooster and all that, we had sort of already committed to walking the crowdfunding path at a certain point. We just didn't know how the timing of it would all shake out. But it sort of after there was a bit of craziness in 2016. I don't know if you remember that, but after that,
do you mind explaining a little bit?
About just in general, right? I can also touch on that specific moment, but sort of after that we realized
the election.
After that, and I made a rather I think I call it a great work of art made into a Twitter post that kind of galvanized the community around some different things, and I think it served a purpose. But it certainly changed our lives, and in a sense, and pushed us into a path that I kind of wanted to be on anyway, because I really want to do my own books, and I've been preparing them for a long time. But what I didn't expect is how many doors would start shutting after that, and it was all of them. Not all of them, but it was like, it was a crazy experience psychologically, just kind of to go through and to witness. But I thought it was worthwhile for others to watch and witness as well, because I think it exposed some things about the industry, about human nature, about where we are as a culture and a arts community that wasn't very healthy.
Was it? Yeah. So I'll tell you right off the bat, this is one of the things that really, really interests me in like the Blacklist. And I know it's almost a little bit more complicated than that, at least from what I see. But it's really interested in me because I remember when I was first trying to get into comics, I was looking around and I thought, I'm not making any assumption about anybody else. I'm lean right. I'm conservative. And so I was looking around like, I remember Googling, are there conservative comic creators? And I discovered Steve Ditko. He was like libertarian, or he was a objectionist. And that was a objectivist. And that was the closest
objectivist
thing.
and Randian. Yeah.
Right. This is the closest thing I could really find, which was strange. And this was years ago. Now there's just a lot more talk about it, but it just seemed like you had to not talk about it or have an opinion. Not only that, but you have to be very vocal about having the correct opinion. And the election really brought that out.
Yeah.
Just wild.
It certainly was. And there are right-leaning conservative or Christian or whatever people in all those sides of the tribe or whatever, or there are people like that in comics, but they do keep their heads down and they know not to pop it up because you'll get a punch in the face.
Right. So when people say that there's no, I still have people that say this to me, that there's no blacklisting, there's no like favoritism because of politics and comics. I don't know. What would you say to that? I know this is really turning into an interview. I'm just really curious.
This is great stuff because I was actually talking about this with someone the other day because I've never claimed that there was a blacklist or to be on any lists. I think people think that I claim that, but I don't. You can go and look at I just don't. I've never have. And I think Diversity in Comics said that I did one time and I wrote him and he offered a retraction for it. And it's just, I've never said it. And the reason is because they don't operate. That's not the way things operate. It's whispers and it's like, I'm not really, this guy's not part of the club anymore, or, just the phone calls will dry up or whatever. Despite the fact that like our little company, Breitweiser House, since we formed Breitweiser House, we never missed a deadline. I mean, it was top level art and color, especially color in the last few years was what we were really focusing on. And it was, it's award nominated A+ level stuff. The best of the best, in my opinion. We certainly tried really hard and worked really hard to do that and never missed a mark as a Breitweiser House, the legal entity. My wife and I are a little company. But with if you say that there's a blacklist, then it's like, well, where's the proof? You got to show me, it's all this kind of stuff. And you can't. So it puts you on it puts, by even talking about it or saying that you're on one or that exists, and you're already in a situation where you're kind of on a limb and you don't have the evidence to back up your claim. Yeah. It just doesn't work that way.
It's more like, why pick the Breitweisers when you know what I mean? Like you can pick, like you're saying, like the jobs dry up, the requests. So that's what I'm like, it's a lot more complicated than that. And that's, like, it's nice and convenient, I guess, to think of it as a conspiracy theory, but that is just human nature. I think, and I think you were just saying that earlier.
Yeah, it's when you're in the moment, you're things feel much more like they're in your face, and but in retrospect, you kind of say it's like it's just human nature. You just have to understand that it may take a couple of years or 3 or 4 or maybe I think 10.
Another election.
That might make it
What's
worse.
going to happen when Trump wins again? We're never they're going to come into they're going to burn our houses down and stuff, man. Put a scarlet R on us, like Republican must be destroyed to save the world. That's the problem with these people. They go to college, they get taught this is the only way you can save the world, and it's by being a crazed activist and turning all of our art into this soulless, weird propaganda. And then they get into all these positions over the years and then start giving their friends jobs, and it becomes like this weird infestation. And now, like, the people who would never fire these people based on their politics, we would never do that to them, are making sure people like us don't get, our little part of this industry. Like, we might disagree on some, taxes or something silly like that. But oh no, we can't just like make art and like tip the hat of respect to each other. No way, that's just impossible. They set the scenario up this way, not us.
Yeah.
In sort of in a response to that, just to take that slightly different direction, maybe it's not really. It certainly feels that way, and like it can feel exclusionary, but in a sense, it's like they're just exercising their freedom of association. We'll just have our own industry, and that's just the way I've taken it. It's like, all right, I'll be mainstream now. So if you're gonna lay down the sword, I'll pick it up.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it, because then you can, I don't know, just having the control. That's the thing, is if everybody's going to the same publishers to get published, and you feel, and I know I felt like that. I was trying to get published by Image for years, and I felt like, if I did some like male feminist thing, then my chances were better. You know what I mean? Like just that would give me better odds. I don't think I would have got in anyway, but
did you at least have a name for this character?
Oh man, I did. The most
date
recent...
rape man. No, I'm just kidding.
straight white man. Yeah.
Sorry, male feminist. You deserve that.
No, I actually did one in Anarchy. It was basically before the most recent Antifa. It was before the election. I did one about I watched this documentary about a really far left. It was, what do they call them? By Any Means. I wrote a book about a guy.
Those are some nasty people.
Yeah.
By any means necessary.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're crazy, right, man. They're certifiable.
There's some good documentaries on them. Really interesting stuff. I wrote a story about one of their members that changed his mind, and how he would kind of work through it and getting out of it. I submitted that thing to Image. I never heard back. But it was like, I just wanted, this is what interested me. I wanted to tell the story. So I did.
It's a cool, it's a cool story to leave something like that. I mean, that's, I don't know if that's it was like a biography that you were doing, or was this like a true story? Or you made it up?
It was inspired by a true story. It was inspired by a true story. Yeah. Okay. I forget the guy's name, but there's some great, I got to find his name, man. It was so interesting though. Like he went from being one of those activists, like violence, making Molotov cocktails and things like that, to being an FBI informant on the group. And so it was just really fascinating how his whole story. So it was just inspired by that.
So it's like Goodfellas for like ugly genderless kids with tats.
Like, that's the thing. Awesome. Most of them they're just kids, they're kids. And then someone tells them like, here's how you make a Molotov cocktail and throw it on the police. You know?
Well, I mean, just looking at some of these folk that wind up in that stuff, it's like they are just kids, and a lot of them look like they came from really tough homes, or I feel really bad for them in a lot of cases until they turn violent and start beating up old people, and then it's like, okay, screw you, you're going to jail.
Right. Under a different set of circumstances, you know what I mean? I don't know. It is interesting to me how people get radicalized, but I don't know why or how. Here's a question for you, Mitch. I don't know if this is going right for the throat. It says, for $5 from Reno, thanks very much for the super chat. It says, to Mitch, was the person who tried to blackmail you Edwin's personal friend, Late Night Comics? The person is becoming more dangerous over time. I don't know if you can or want to talk about that.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Okay. Yeah. And that's a sensitive issue. I'll say that because legal reasons, but I'm not involved whatsoever, but I'm just making a comment. So
I mean, I've never had a negative interaction with Edwin. So I don't know. I can't speak to that.
Yeah. The other thing I'm realizing is I've been kind of out of Twitter for the past 3 days, and it looks like I've missed a lot of things, and it's kind of hard to keep up with what's going on.
I dropped a bomb. Was it yesterday? About what happened to us a year ago, which was that we had a threat of blackmail.
Yes.
Blackmail.
That was huge.
Yeah, it was nice to get it off my chest.
Right. Well, I'm curious. Can you tell us
Good.
anything about that, or is it still kind of just that it happened?
It happened. It happened on a Twitter DM, and I called the authorities immediately. And it was a threat of blackmail, but what they were threatening us with did not exist. So it wasn't a serious. It was obviously turned your life upside down for a couple of days or 3 days, or I can't remember now. Maybe probably a whole week, really. That it turns your life upside down because you're just tensed up and like, and whatever, and just not normal. It's not normal, not at all. But we just went through the proper channels, and that's really it. That's kind of really the extent of all I really want to say about it.
No, and I'll add, this is exactly on topic, but it's amazing to me how many crazy people there are in just the internet. I've had people being extremely nasty to me. I got threatened the other week, like pretty bad.
Me too.
With my home address and everything.
Oh no, that's really bad.
Yeah, it's I don't know, and that's like I've said over and over again. I am not an activist. That is not why the YouTube channel exists. I reserve the right to have an opinion. But yeah, if I'm not being an activist how people want to, then I don't know. You go somewhere else. Like that's not my goal here. So yeah, I feel you, man. The internet can be nasty. Most people are awesome though.
Yes, and most people are awesome. Yes,
most of them are watching this stream right now. So appreciate it, everyone.
Yes, and our YouTube people have been really, really good. I've been on Twitter a lot lately, which is because I'm trying to just. It's not super duper healthy. I love being on YouTube, and our YouTube audience is always great on our channel.
Yeah,
and super supportive, and I love drawing for them, and I'm anxious to get back to it because they are always very enthusiastic and encouraging group.
Yeah. I do love YouTube. And I've also found too, like reading the comment section. Just for me personally, like you read some things that are sometimes insulting, but also really funny. People call me the white Mr. T. That's a new one. And so, yeah, that was pretty funny.
That's fun. A little ribbing, doesn't hurt anybody. You can, make fun of the mustache or whatever, or you call me whatever, but right. There's a line.
Exactly. But it's funny, like you get into the comment section and like I try to read, I don't read all the comments because I just can't get to them. But I'll read the comments on the most recent video, like the first, for the first 24 hours, I'll read those and respond. And it's funny because you get some nasty ones sometimes and you respond. And one time someone's like, "Oh, I didn't think you'd actually read this. I apologize for my tone." It's really funny.
It's funny. It's like you got caught with your pants down a little bit. Oh, I'm not really a jerk. I'm a jerk behind the keyboard and I got caught.
Seemed like might as well. So anyway, that's kind of funny how that works.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's take a look at the Futurists, Norah Saga, Bass Reeves. This is the Allegiance comic bundle. You got, I would say, like, give us a pitch, but this is like 3 different pitches.
It is. Let me give you the whole pitch, which is 3 premier debut comic books from creators like Kelsey Shannon, Blake Northcott, Kevin Grievous, David Williams, Butch Geis, who has been awesome, Eric Weathers, who may drop in here in a little bit, and my friend Patrick Stiles, who's a great talent that you'll all hear from very soon. And 73 total pages. So these are 3 comic book, I think 24, and 25. So 73 total pages of story, 3 separate comic books, a special Founders Edition printing of all of them. So this is a unique and special printing for all of these backers. And that's, I guess that's the case for this. So you can pick up the books. You can kind of customize the orders in any number of ways. We have T-shirts for each one and posters for each one as well. And you can kind of mix and match and add on 1 T-shirt or all 3 or however you want to do it through add-ons at checkout. So there's a lot of ways to customize your order here.
Love it.
And the books are nearly done. That's a big thing. A big feather in our cap. We're going to be done by the end of the campaign. I think Bass Reeves may be done. now. I'm not sure. I have to check on it all. I've been very focused on Red Rooster for the last several days. So,
Nice.
but they're nearing completion.
That's great. Yeah, this looks cool. I backed on day one because I looked at these. I'm like,
too, I think
all three of these look really interesting. So I got them all. I have to admit, well, the Futurist does. I don't know. Every time I look at any three of them, they look great. But I'm really excited. Again, Kelsey Shannon just amazes me, and so I'm really excited for Nora's Saga.
We can start there. Let's start there. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm curious with these ideas, and this will probably lead into it. But was it like an allegiance thing? Like you planned it, or did you hire creators and they said, "Hey, I've got this idea I want to pitch you"? How do you kind of go through that?
Okay, so I'm in the middle of today writing a very robust campaign update for Red Rooster backers. That's going to hopefully explain to them how all of this came to be and sort of fill in some of the gaps in lack of updates and some mysteries along the way. We've been a little secretive about what we've been doing, and there's been some things I couldn't say for many, many months. That I want to be able to talk about very, very soon, and it's going to answer everybody's questions.
Oh, cool.
And part of that has to do with allegiance and the titles and why things are forming the way they are and where we're going. But essentially in January, I'll try to be as kind of vague as I can about it. I had I guess I'll call it a commission. It's not really the right word, but an obligation. I had an obligation to create 4 comic books. And Allegiance has separate investment capital. We don't use the Red Rooster backer money was not used for Allegiance. So just that's one thing people have questions about. So we went out and found investors. It's not like we're sitting on Smog's hoard over here or anything. It's like it's enough to make some comic books. So and so we went about creating them. Red Rooster will be one of the 4, obviously. And then I had to fill 3 more gaps. The Futurists is a book that I had kind of in my back pocket for a long time, at least a story that was co-created by my now editor-in-chief and longtime friend, Patrick Stiles, and he's scripting the book. So that was definitely in as book number 2. And then we had 2 more books that we needed to fill, titles that we needed to fill. And I started with Bass Reeves, which is a story. It's a true story, and we'll get into this later about the true legend of Bass Reeves, presented as a comic book. And it's something that I had learned about the story of Bass Reeves probably about 6 years ago, and I was really, really captivated by it. He's an Arkansas hero, and of course I'm an Arkansas resident or citizen, and he just has an amazing story, and it just gripped me, and I couldn't let it go. And I knew I wanted to make a comic book about him someday, and so that was the 3rd slot. And then for that, I had already, with Butch Geis, we had kind of figured out that Butch was really interested in the Futurist, and he was on board with that. And so then I going through my Rolodex, looking through my very talented friends and associates that I'd made along the way, I called up David Williams, and I pitched him 3 or 4 titles that we thought that we might do. And we got to Bass Reeves, and he's like, "That's mine. That's mine. I'm doing that. I'm in." Cool. He knew about Bass Reeves. He's one of his personal heroes. And that's how that went down. And then from right that moment, he was in. He drew us some pinup art, and we used that in some presentations and pitches to help sell it. And so Bass Reeves was born. And then we brought Kevin Grievix in later through David's. I had worked with Kevin previously at Marvel, so but David got us reconnected, and they've been wanting to work together for years and years. And Kevin is also really passionate about Bass Reeves and also other black cowboy stories. He's writing, I think, he's writing another one right now, actually, when we contacted him. So just kind of serendipitous. Wow. I'm kind of veering off track. Oh yeah, Nora's Saga. That was the last one, the 4th book. And so the 4th book was a bit of a mystery, and we were scratching at it for a while, trying to figure out what would fit in this lineup, right? And I had a list of mine and Patrick. We created tons of stuff together. We had a list of all these different properties and ideas that some of them we tossed in the trash, and some of them we focused more on. He had pitched me 5-6 years ago, probably, about a web comic And he said, I had this idea for a webcomic, and it's this teenage girl who has like a head injury, and it's a gag, but like she sees her everyday life as a Norse fantasy, and it's called Nora's Saga, and it's meant to be like a web strip, run once a month. He just wanted to draw it just to have some fun and do something with some gags in it. And then we hadn't thought about it in 6 years, and I saw it on the list, and I'm like, I started thinking about it in a different way, not as a web comic and not as a girl with a brain injury, which is kind of sad. But what about a girl who gets actually trapped and like transported or trapped in a world of Norse legend and has to deal with it through like it's a transportive fantasy in a sense, like a Wizard of Oz or a Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's court. And she's a teenage girl, a contemporary teenage girl who gets stuck or gets trapped in this I guess like a pocket dimension or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, when we get to the end. And then has to win over allies and use her smarts. And then she sort of resolves in the fantasy world she has to resolve in the fantasy world her contemporary issues, which seem really big at first, but once you're being threatened with axe murder, things change. You get a new perspective. So she has to fight her way back and win a new perspective. And then we'll see where it goes. We have some, there are twists, and I won't spoil them.
Nice.
But that's how that came into being. And essentially, we were looking for the talent to be involved on that. I was already, I can't remember the chronology. I can't remember the chronology of it all. But for Blake Northcott, we were looking for a writer, and I had been watching her for some time. I never read her work, but I really liked her professionalism and her demeanor. I could tell she was a very, very smart woman. And so we picked up North Valley Grimoire on audiobook, and I remember popping it. I remember listening to it in the car on a drive in West Little Rock, and within the first few paragraphs, I could tell she has the heat, because she was setting it all up right, and I knew she had all the ingredients there. And
who narrated it?
I cannot recall, but she's excellent. The narrator for her audiobook was excellent.
You helped Blake get a job, whoever narrated that.
Yeah, she did very good. No, but Blake stands on her own regardless. So
yeah, her writing is good. I'm really into her, man. I've been following her for a little while. She's awesome.
I think her ceiling is very, very high. So
yeah,
nice.
It's like we're just gonna watch her grow.
Yeah, we called her up. We listened to about probably half the book, and we're like, okay, we're done. We got to get her on the phone. And so we got her on and pitched it to her, and it was very loose, very, very loose. And I just, because we didn't want to it's our book, it's Allegiance's title,
it's your idea.
We took the risk. We're paying for it. It's our idea, but we really gave her a pretty open field to take it kind of anywhere she wanted. And then we flew her into Little Rock, I don't know, a month or two, a couple months later in the spring. And Patrick was in there, and I was in there, and Kelsey came up from Baton Rouge because he had signed on as the artist at that point, or some time between now and then. And so the four of us were there, and she came, from Canada. She was a little skittish at first, but we're all a happy bunch. So she warmed up really fast, and but she came so prepared. She had all the ducks in a row. She had really worked hard in advance of the trip and came with some really great material. And after, we sat in that writer's room for it was me, Patrick, and her and Kelsey, and we sat in the writer's room for an hour and a half. And I'm I read through her treatment, and I was you guys got this. So I just let Patrick and her work it out, and they beat out all the beats and tightened it all up. And Kelsey and I drew for 3 days and had a blast. Wow. So she's great, and Kelsey's great. It's a great book.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited for it. G-Pez, the art on Nora's Saga looked dope.
I think one of the most magic things ever is the combinations of artists you're putting together to create these very different books, yet they all share really great things that I love about comics in common. They're artful. There's a brilliance to the art direction in these books, and the storytelling styles are different, yet they're very effective in their own way according to the visuals and the type of story being told. But you put these rock star teams together and you're making this happen. And I just think that's as exciting as it gets. I think. I mean, as a creator myself, I just think that's amazing.
Well, as the chief creative officer of Allegiance Arts and Entertainment, I accept that as a profound compliment.
That's good. And speaking of your rock star creative talent, Eric Weathers is here. We don't want to ignore him.
Yes.
Hey.
Hello there. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, Mitch. Hey, Vaughn. Hey, Clint.
Hey. I'm curious too, because Eric's here. Why not? Well, how did you get in touch with Eric? How did that all go down? Like, I need a letterer, and Eric letters everything.
I need a letterer, and Eric letters everything, and I could just by just kind of watching him online, I could get a sense that he was a real stand-up guy, and so I can't remember how it transpired. I just reached out to you.
Yeah. First of all, I think we just lost Clint.
Yeah,
so
we did.
We'll be back in a second. I got a DM. One day I got a DM, and I think it was as simple as, "Hey, could you send me some samples of your work?" And here he is. So I threw together a PDF. Threw together a quick PDF of just 5 pages from Jawbreakers and 5 pages from Graveyard Shift, and sent it your way. And then you said, "That's good. We'll send you." Yeah, for Red Rooster specifically, you said that's good. We'll send you some pages for to test out, and we talked on the phone, and then I did those test pages. It was a while after that, but I didn't know all the inner workings. I was leaving you a little bit in the dark as things were materializing, because we were in the middle of a very big initiative that Eric knows all about now, but at the time it's like a lot of moving pieces, and it's very early, and I'm keeping some data very close to the chest.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
it sounds like dating almost.
It is a little bit, and
I wasn't ready to come out of my shell.
Well, and the thing is, it's like over the last few years, I've had to get a lot better at sniffing out who to trust, like who's a trustworthy individual, who's a creator that you can really count on, and it will be a team player, and that's it's kind of sometimes a tough thing to find,
it is. Well, and even if they are all those good things, do you work well with them?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, you got the personality.
That's like one of those key things. Like, you could be the best artists in the world, the best writer and the best visual artist in the world could maybe not be able to tell a story together. They might clash. See,
very true.
It's hard to find that click. And Eric is such a good guy. He works to click with everyone he can, and that must be hard. Like, that is a feat of strength, my friend.
Well,
pull that off so much.
It is not easy all the time, but
Eric's going to be the guy who ends up with all the secrets, I think.
I have
everybody's secrets.
I have the keys to
lettering them,
and then
lettering all of them,
and he'll be indispensable to everybody.
Yeah.
And then no one can get rid of him, because if you do, he'll dump all the info.
That's right.
He's a supervillain.
You've hired me.
He's a supervillain.
Yes. So now we're stuck with him no matter what we do.
Yeah.
It's going to work out.
It's a good insurance policy.
Secret man.
Always good. Hey, Ethan said, "I'll come in if you send me the link, Clint." I just sent you the link, Ethan. I hope that's okay with everybody. It's always good to talk to Ethan. That's mad if I think about it, Eric, how many people you're working with. I just think so. Right now we're going through Downcast letters and pre-pressed.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm driving you crazy, but the number of times like emailing back and forth, you know what I mean? Like,
there's always something. So like I was a couple of weeks ago, I was doing this with your boy. So as anybody that watches this channel knows, we've been going through edits because you have somebody read it, you send it out to half a dozen people, maybe less, saying, "I need you to help me find any spelling errors, any continuity errors." You get somebody that knows more about the comic making process that says, "Oh, you know what? Maybe we should move this balloon here, or let's maybe add a line here, add a line there." There's a lot of back and forth, and it's just part of the process. So,
absolutely,
it is what it is. Absolutely. I enjoy it, so there's that.
That's good. That's important. Hey, Ethan, how's it going?
Hi, boys. Hi, Clint.
Hey
Ethan.
Good group tonight. I wanted to join. Hold on a second. I'm echoing because I'm watching the other stream going. I'm like, you guys said hi to me twice. I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, hi. I just finished my Star Wars trailer review, and got a glimpse of Rose Tico.
Shiny rose cheeks. Oh yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
She put on a little weight, but she still looks beautiful. Her face is dirty, in the thing. Looks like she's seen a little action. But I have to say, even though it was boring as hell, I'm so excited about making Star Wars videos.
Yeah.
I saw it was. I mean, it just looks like it looks
it's
like
harvest time.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Let's do it. We got Bon. Hey, Mitch, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, brother?
Great, man. It's great to see you, and Eric as well, my friend, and Vaughn. Great. Sorry. Great to be amongst you.
Yeah, great to have you. It's always good to stream with you, Ethan.
So what's going on? We got Futurist, Nora Saga, and Bass Reeves. We're like so close, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're dangerously close to getting. Let's see where you're at. 484 backers. Oh man, you're like what? $700 away, something like that.
Yeah,
That's really close.
We'll
hit under that
soon, I think.
Very cool. Yeah, really close. Before I forget this, I gotta get this super chat. $5 from Brian. Thank you very much. He says, I know I'm sounding like a broken record, but I just wanted to thank Clint, Easy E, and all you folks who helped make Six Gun Gorilla a success. Yeehaw. Oh, no problem. I was gonna say, Brian, I said this on Twitter. He's the example of how you should do it. Be kind to people. It's okay to be persistent and ask. I'll tell you, like getting a super chat to ask me, to stream with you, that goes over so much better than on Twitter. Sometimes people just say, put me on your stream. Like, no, please, or thank you. Just put me on your stream. So I have to say, Brian has been professional about it. So I do appreciate that.
With honey.
That's right. It works.
Yeah.
That old saying does work. So Mitch, I wanted to ask you about the direct market because that's interesting. Or I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what your plans are, but for these 3 books, you're crowdfunding and then you are moving into the direct market. Is that the plan?
It's yes, maybe sort of. I don't want to really talk about. I don't want to.
How's that for an answer?
Yeah,
I'll take it. Yeah,
I don't want to really talk about future plans future plans in detail, but in a sense, yes.
Okay. Can you tell us? So are they
be on comic book store shelves?
Are they going to be? Okay. Are they going to be ongoing series for each of these books?
Yes. Okay. Although, like by ongoing, they're with plan breaks because I don't want to. They're not going to be monthly through 130 issues,
right,
or anything like that. I'd like to do like 6 issues and then take a break and then do another 6 issues and take that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
That's a good route to go. It's like seasons of a.
Yes, that's what we're calling them. It's their seasons and episodes. So the whole, even on the covers, it's going to say that we're basically kind of changing the lingo to prime people to expect a season premiere and then a season finale, and then you get a break, which is going to give the artist time to do their best work and catch up. And then it gives the company time to prepare the marketing for season 2, which is way more exciting. It's a new premiere, man. It's like 6 more issues. Everything's different. Everybody changes. We get to build to another climax.
We can change the comic industry this way. I mean, that's exactly the language I'm using for Cyberfrog, where it's like where initially I was like, there are 4 issues of Cyberfrog, and then I went, I love Cyberfrog. There's got to be more than 4. So I'm going to plan it out so that there's season 1, and then. Why people put numbers on books anymore doesn't make any sense. Just change the title of every issue.
Yeah.
Number 1 books. If we've gone through this a million times, but I love the idea of just doing like having a trade paperback that's season 1 of Bass Reeves, season 1 of the Futurists, and then season 1 of Cyberpunk, and then we just relaunch with season 2. End on a cliffhanger, make it killer, just that's how to sell comics, I think, in this day and age.
Right.
Yeah, you guys are setting up a pathway that I know I have looked at definitely for the next books that I'm doing is seeing is what you guys are doing. Like a year ago, Ethan, when you were talking about how you were getting rid of numbers and just doing titles, that made me totally reconsider how I'm going to do my Oz book. So, and knowing after I learned what you were doing, Mitch, with the seasons, it's just, I really like that idea, because we live in this culture of, if, you know, say let's use Walking Dead for an example. Say you don't have cable and you don't get to catch it. You still binge it. You binge the season when it hits Netflix, and then you got to wait 3, 4, or 5 months, whatever it is, and then you can binge it again. So it's sort of that binge model that people love. Obviously, there are release dates for each issue and all of that, but it just, there's something that feels right about that.
Yeah, I think so.
Not the same old, like, you get a comic book and there's a number on it. It's like, I don't know what to do. This is number 568.
Yeah, you don't know where to start, because it's like, well, if do I start at number 1? Do I start at issue 100 because everything is new there? Or, well, if you know to start at like Futurist season 1, then you know to start at, if you come in the middle of it and you're at like Futurist issue or Futurist episode, or season 6 episode 4, you're like, where do I start? Well, no, you start at season 1. It's easy to find, or you can just start at the beginning of season 6 and see if you like it. It's I think it's more customization for the consumer. And it's really serving it to them their way, which is the way they're used to. They're used to this language now.
Yeah,
they're not used to issue 219 of Spider-Man or whatever. They're used to seasons and episodes. Yeah.
And my question is, how do you guys feel? What's your impression about the wait time between issues? Because in television, it doesn't matter, and in Harry Potter novels, it doesn't matter. In comics, people are terrified that unless there's a new installment every month, you're going to lose your audience. And that's something that scares me too, because I can't do that. I can't do a monthly book. So how do you guys feel about that? What do you anticipate the crowd is going to feel like?
My thought is if you love Thor and you're caught up on Thor comic books and Thor is your thing, you're going to start seeking out more Thor stuff. Like you're going to go you're going to go get the Thor blanket, or find your way to support your character in some other way and in some other fashion. You're going to have the if you're in between cyber frogs, and you're waiting and your kid's having their 6th birthday, you're going to throw them a cyber frog birthday. You're going to have cyber frog birthday plates and cyber frog banners. And that's
there's the next Indiegogo.
Yeah, that's the way you're going to do it.
Pinatas.
I'm trying that. I mean, I'm putting out Cyberfrog product. I got a coin set and a trading card set that I'm like launching, and my finger's on the trigger to launch them. And people are like, it's too soon. You've only put out 1 book. And I'm like, yeah, but there's going to be a wait time between the next book. Shouldn't I just keep putting out product, or what do you think?
Right.
I'm not sure. Like, everything just seems like we have good theories, like, but we have to market test this stuff, and it's going to be brutal. It's going to feel like war to actually market test these ideas and see if they work as well as the direct market used to work.
Well, there's a lot of risk in it too, and I think a lot of people, I don't know, I'm really getting into this, just getting to the end of my book and getting it to the printer and everything, just realizing how much of a monetary risk it is, and with your time and everything, to be into this story. It just takes a massive amount of work to get it done. And so I don't know, like, as a reader, I think I'd love to see Cyberfrog 4 times a year. The reality is, like, I see what it's like for me. Getting Downcast twice a year is I'd like to get it there. We're only planning the 2 books, but within a year period of time, it's like, if I can get 2 books out before April, then it happens. It's just a ton of work and a lot of risk. So I don't know, there's definitely a balance. At the same time, I know, like, the content, if you're making daily YouTube videos, people are thinking about you and talking about you all the time. And so I do think that those, like, regular campaigns, even if it's not a book, it is important to staying in people's minds and staying relevant, and feeding that interest in the character. So but what do I know? Well, let me get into Reno. Here's a super chat for $5. Thank you. It says, sorry about bringing up that sensitive issue. Moving on to Clint, Vaughn, and EVS. Do you have a single paid editor, or do you have a group of volunteers? I have an editor, but I'll tell you, after the editor went through it and I had another professional help me go through it, then I had my wife go through it, and she still found like 5 things. So I'm like, thank you, honey. But I think as many people as you can.
Yeah. Look, just help. I'll take help just about anywhere.
Yeah.
I use one editor, and then he tells me what he really thinks. Like, he's pretty hard on it, and then fix whatever little weird errors. that he can. He does a really good job. He's cheap. And when he gives me that, I make a new draft based off that with a lot of confidence, following his edits most of the time. Sometimes I'm going to like shoot him down. But after that, I feel like I have a very polished, ready to rock script. That's going to be the best, the best version of what, my artist will need as a blueprint to make the best book.
Yeah, I'll be doing what I have an editor for Flying Fortress. And once I get the book ready, I'll be sending it to volunteers to just make sure. Cause I've looked at this book for years, but now it's different because the editors come in and cleaned up a lot of stuff and cut out redundancies in dialogue that I put in or given characters voices through dialect and things like that have been really neat. So it is a new book for me, but it's something that I've worked on forever. So it's hard for me to sit down and read it and not just sort of gloss through it because I've done that so many times. So I need fresh eyes to look at it and say, this is good, this is bad, fix this, fix that, whatever.
I have a paid editor. I hired an editor for Cyberfrog. And I mean, I hired the editor halfway through the process, so not from the beginning. And what he said was, obviously, it would have been nice to have like read the script ahead of time before like the artwork was finished. And I said, I understand that. We'll do it right the second time. The first time was really just feeling around in the dark, in a lot of ways.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a learning process.
Look at this. Refresh this.
Let's refresh it here. Oh, it's gonna make me wait.
Yeah.
Slow connection.
I guess so.
Yes.
All right.
So close.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
That's great.
Awesome.
Only 2% standing in the way here. So
let's knock that down.
Yeah, that can happen tonight.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Well, we still haven't even
down
the other two projects. So,
wait, what's that mean? Other two projects?
Well, we before you came on, we talked about Nora's saga, and I kind of went through the deep. Well, I didn't really go through the details of the story, did I? Not really. We just talked about how it came into being.
The head injury, but that's not
not the way. Yeah, that's not
older version.
Next.
Yeah. So,
tell us about it.
She's a teenage girl, angst. Well, not a little angsty, but contemporary teenage girl, whose father. This is a father-daughter story in many ways, and Ethan really resonated with that. Whose father is doing everything he can. He's just trying to help his daughter acclimate to a new school, a new place, and he's just a working class guy, just trying to make it and doing the best he can, and give his daughter a life. And then maybe, as teenagers are wont to do, they don't respect those kinds of things sometimes, and they may regret it. Something happens towards the end of the book that catapults Nora into the world of ice and legend and Norse fantasy. And I did kind of pitch this, I remember now. And then she has to use her smarts and her charms and learn her lessons from the real world in this now more violent fantasy Norse world, and help fight her way back and back to her father.
Nice. You had me at violence.
I have to say, Kelsey's pages are amazing. They are really, really good. He knocked it out of the park on this book. And I haven't even seen like the last 3 or 4. I'm still waiting patiently for those.
Oh, yeah. He's still. I haven't either. So
yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. I think of the 3, the one I'm most excited about is Norse Saga.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
I'm with you there, but that futurist artwork looks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you coloring this page down here at the bottom, or this panel, I don't know, on a live stream once. And I'm not a colorist. I don't even understand. It's just magic to me. It's beautiful.
Well, Butch Geist did all the hard work. But, I'm happy we could take it to the extra mile.
Yeah, that cover piece is it's a poster, and just the color palette, the beautiful purples, oranges, reds, and blues all mixed in there. It looks like otherworldly. It really looks like no comic I've ever seen.
Every color in the rainbow, and somehow made it all work. I feel like we invented colors for this. It was Elizabeth and myself, and we kept throwing it back and forth quite a bit, and we just worked it and worked. We worked on this for several days.
It's beyond fuchsia. That could be a tagline. is that you? I think it was Ethan that said that's current comics. It's just fuchsia. Everything.
But that's not fuchsia, though.
No.
Fuchsia is just I don't know what that is. What is that? SJW Comics have all turned fuchsia and blue.
Yeah,
it's true.
So weird.
It's like anytime you do a concert stream, Ethan, you turn fuchsia.
Their hair.
Yeah. That is true.
Love it. Yeah, so get in there. I think this is a good one here. Signature Bundle Edition. And these are special. Like the ones you're getting through here are different.
Yeah, if you want, I could go over the tiers real quick or the perks. So the signature bundle, that gets you all the signatures, and they're on book plates, which is going to be far more efficient for us to ship around. And they're going to look very elegant, and you can either put them in your board or put them in the book, or you could frame them next to the book, should you choose.
Cool.
And so they'll be shipped around to the artist, and you'll get everyone's signatures. And it also comes with the 3 posters for each title. And every backer gets the, well, except for the digital backers, the bookmark and the sticker, the Allegiant sticker and the Founders Edition bookmark. So you'll never get lost on your adventure.
Nice. Love it. That's a really good deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. And then we've got the digital bundle for if you're overseas and you don't want to pay the shipping, which is a little higher than it was on Red Rooster. Learn some lessons there. You can get the digital bundle, or if you're a digital fan, or you can add on digital at the end. Actually, for there's a lot of add-ons at the checkout: t-shirts, digital, founders, name inscriptions in the back of the book, all kinds of stuff you can buy at checkout. Nice. The $25 tier is the Founders Edition bundle. That's just the 3 books, the bookmark and the sticker. So if you just want to get in and get out and get your comic books in January, then that's the way you want to go. Nice. And below that is Choose Your Own Adventure, which gets you 1 t-shirt, 1 book, and 1 poster. You can mix and match or go all in on 1 property. And then below that is the Super Fan Swag Pack, which gets you all the everything. It's all the t-shirts, all the posters, all the books. And you can add the signatures. You can start there and add the signatures at checkout.
Wow. That's a great one. You just get everything. The one of everything. I think maybe it was Ethan. Yeah, you had one that was one of everything. I like that title.
Yeah, just keep it simple. That's the one I backed, Mitch. I got the Super Fan Swag Pack because I want those t-shirts. And by the way, 2XL, Mitch.
I almost called them size pie.
Size pie.
Do not send me a tent. Do not listen to these people. It's 2XL. Thank you.
I remember we surprised you at the airport with a 3XL T-shirt we bought from the Clinton Presidential Library. Remember that?
And Bill Clinton socks. I still wear those.
Oh no!
That was good fun.
That's great.
So funny. And you can become a Viking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, drawn by Kelsey Shannon. Yeah, $1,500. You could be killed by Butch Guice for $2,500. Those are offering two of those. You can choose to be the
help of the legal team.
You can choose your weapon too. So you can choose pistol, sword, or magic, and we'll kill you one of those ways. So you get to pick. And then the final, which we offer one package of, is $3,000, and that's be arrested by the legendary Bass Reeves. So this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for somebody.
Because you're not getting out.
No,
it's a lifetime.
Yeah, you're done.
That's awesome. Yeah, check it out, everybody.
I don't know, man. If I'm showing one of my friends or my mom or a girlfriend, like, based on a true story, look, Mom, there's me getting arrested back in the past. It might weird them out. I don't know.
Depends on what you're getting arrested for, I suppose.
It's true.
Yeah.
Darn Republicans. Awesome. Yeah, we're gonna keep.
I love how all of these look. Like, they remind me of old Flash Gordon comics again, with the vibrance and the boldness and the beauty to the art. The character designs take me to that kind of, like, in Futurists, man. It takes me to like a pulpy world, but it's kind of brightly colored like the 80s and kind of beautiful and fantasy. I don't know. It's a great sense of style to it.
Thank you. I mean, Butch does pulp like nobody else, in my opinion. I think he's a modern master as far as that goes. And so, he's very passionate about the story, and is very much right up his alley. And he's he's really into it, and we really appreciate that. And then I think the story takes place in mid 1860s in India, and I really wanted to draw on. If you ever looked at like a lot of Indian art or Indian art books, it's all bright and it's all kind of clashy.
Oh, yeah.
But you think about a population with that many people in it, you want to stand out. So you're using all these clashy colors. And so I wanted to take some of that inspiration and put it into this world that we're creating here, this pulpy world of magic and mystery. But I also wanted to introduce like unusual color palettes and things that might not always fit together. And that to me is kind of that, we call it gaudy, but it's actually pretty cool and a unique aesthetic. But I want to pull that a little bit too.
Plus, look at that mustache. I mean, people are calling this the mustache stream. So look at that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to take a minute to yell at Eric Weathers.
What did I do?
Eric, you know, most people who have beards like you are doing it to disguise their lack of a jawline. You, my friend, have a jawline, a good jawline, and yet you still have the beard, and it pisses me off.
So do I need to shave right here? See, my wife wants me to just go to the goatee.
No, it just accentuates your incredibly straight, like rigid, awesome jawline that I lost when I was 18. And I have to admit, it bothers me that I've got this in an effort to sort of build the illusion of a jawline, and you don't even need it, and you have it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's like when I look at him, he's always wearing a hat normally, and I think, if I had long flowing locks of hair like that, I would not be wearing a hat.
Well, so sometimes it just gets out of hand. Mitch knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
It's you look like a modern Christ. I have to admit. Do you have
I think he looks like Eric Clapton.
A little bit. Young Eric Clapton.
Guitar back there, so
Oh,
it's not a Strat, so it's more, well, you know, BB King. But
do you play?
Yeah, I play.
Can I hear?
It's been a while.
What do you mean it's been a while?
It's been a while since I played.
Like how long?
Not counting me messing around on acoustic literally yesterday for 10 minutes. It's probably been 3 or 4 months. So I will say
do it. I mean,
or so.
Well, there's only 131 people in here, so you could do it. You know, it's an intimate setting.
We'll see.
We could write a song about the new Star Wars trailer.
Rose Tico.
Yeah. After seeing Brian Urso play, it made me
that guy
made you shrink back into your shell.
And even if you guys, Stephen Hart, for the guy that drew Asami, Children of the Rusu way back when, he plays. He can shred as well. So I don't know if enough people want it. Well, maybe we'll see.
I think everybody wants it right now.
Everybody wants it.
We all want it, like a bunch of groupies.
Oh yeah. We love music. I mean, we're all of us. You know, we're creative people. We love music. You know? Do you write songs, or what do you do?
No, I don't write anything. I haven't in a long time. At least it's been, you know, it was one of those things where it was like trying to work as a comic book creator, and I just sort of put the guitar down for a while.
Yeah. And
then I sold it, and I didn't have a guitar for a while. And then actually James Dean Anderson, him and I, we live in the same town, and we worked together. We did some video editing stuff together. We did some graphic design for some video design for for a local fighting group, like a local UFC sort of thing. And he paid me. He was like, so I'm in the guitar store, and there's this beautiful Les Paul. It's not, this is all just thinking of you. It's not a legitimate Les Paul. It's a knockoff. But he goes, it looks like something you would own. So he's like, I can pay you your rate, or I can pay you in a guitar plus the remainder in cash. And I looked at my wife and I said, I think it's time to get a guitar. So yeah, that was payment for some video work I did for James Dean. So
nice.
Yeah. So he got me back in.
Nice.
And little D, I'm gonna let out a little secret. He used to be in a band as well, and the man can wail on the vocals.
Really?
I'm kidding. Yeah.
Nice.
Start a band.
So sure, I'll let me hook it up.
Comic band.
It's time to dust off the old axe.
We got a keyboardist. I'll play rhythm. Eric can play lead, and
I've got rhythm.
Sing. Oh, you've got rhythm. Okay, well,
whatever. Oh, do you play the guitar too, Mitch?
I can play the guitar. Well, I'm pretty rusty because I haven't picked it up in a while. But I used to be in a band, and I used to play lead guitar in a band in Nashville, the Wakefields.
Nice. Yeah, I guess I could do bass. I don't have.
I could go get my trombone.
I'll do bass.
We got a ska band.
I could borrow my dad's bass.
You got fake comic book Hut is here. Stop being fake comic book Hut. Get the real one in here.
Is he? Mitch,
He's
I don't
fake.
know.
I went to his channel. It's blank.
Oh, Mitch, I don't know if you want to talk about it or not, but I think he's your biggest fan.
I think so. I've been thinking about retweeting his videos. I've seen one or two.
Yeah.
I think Elizabeth's seen 3 or 4 more. But yeah, it's funny.
He pisses me off when he talks about Mitch, and I tell him every time, I'm like, stop talking about him. This is where the attention should be focused right here. Make more videos about me.
Yeah.
You know why he's doing it, like, and I know him a little bit.
No idea, but
if you put the name, if you put Ethan Van Sciver in the title of your video, you will get 100% more views, and that's just a fact.
Really,
Mitch, you will get, if you talk about any individual person in comics, you'll get more views if it's in the title. But some more so than others for sure. But that's what it is.
Okay,
absolutely.
Well, I know the title of my next video.
Oh shit!
Ethan Van Sciver was a Nazi, and I had the secret.
And I'm the one with the German helmet on.
No. Oh, I see it back there. No, you're gonna now. You're
demonetized.
Yeah. All right, I got to tune up. Hang on a sec. I'll mute my mic while I get everything ready.
The amazing spectator, the great one, your host, the Hut. I used to practice his accent. It was a while ago though, when he was first doing videos, the first time he got off, but I don't know if I could do it. Someday I'll try to open a video like that. Vaughn, you can do some good impressions. Oh, he's muted though. It's like Vaughn could probably do a great comic book Hut.
Maybe he actually went to go get his trombone.
He might.
Cube Stash in the chat. Yeah, please send me that Tim Vigil sketch. I know he's one of us.
Nice.
No, there's no trombone. I could do a few voices here and there.
Can you do the comic?
I don't remember that guy. And isn't he just kind of like a mumbling like New Yorker type?
Like, hello.
I forgot what he is.
This is the amazing. That's really cool.
How's it going?
Accent, right?
That's not what he sounds like.
What does he sound like?
Cecil does him perfectly because Cecil lives in that neighborhood, kind of. So
oh wow,
he's met a million stooges like him, and I can't do it. Doesn't sound like me.
It's this very like relaxed kind of voice, like which goes against the New Yorker.
I listen to his videos in the headphones, and I can hear his mom going back and forth,
getting chocolate milk and stuff.
That's funny. Love it. Eric, you got it tuned up.
Eric's got the locks out. He's got the axe on. Oh wow. Like Def Leppard and stuff.
We're gonna play
and I won't.
I'm checking back in on this campaign too while we're at it.
Yeah, guys, make sure to take a minute to back the new Allegiance Arts campaign here. Choose a book or get all 3 of them. But we need to get this over the finish line, and we have less than $500 to $458 until we are funded. It'd be great to do that tonight.
Yeah. I'm excited about this because this is opening just a new doorway for comics in general, and all the things that I am sick of it and tired of when it comes to comics, this is bypassing. So they're doing their part. So do back it.
And I don't know if it'll play, but Kelsey created our video for this, and he did an amazing job. I don't know if it'll play properly on a stream like this, though.
But it will. Go to share screen, Clint, and then hit the share audio box in the corner, and then it should be good. So go to share screen.
Share screen.
And then you'll see that share audio box that you need to check.
Awesome. I just learned something new. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right, let's listen to this. And my internet struggled.
Blow it up. Yeah, it's beautiful.
I got chills.
Wow. Yeah, he's amazing.
So cool. So now Kelsey made that.
Kelsey made that. Yeah, it took him a lot of work, and he did a freaking amazing job.
That's
It
awesome.
reminds me, I need to get him paid for that. Follow up on that.
It's funny he's not reminding you. That's awesome.
Well, we have a good relationship, and he knows we're going to take care of him. So we just got to.
Oh yeah.
Got to write that up in the contract. We don't have a contract price for that.
That's awesome. Kelsey's awesome. All right, we got to get to this guitar jam session. But first, a word from our sponsor, the Comic Book Hut. For $2, he says, "Watch yourself, Little Caesar."
Now I'm hungry.
Sweet tea.
That's another kind of pie.
Sweet tea. I love that meme, by the way, Eric. That was pretty great.
Can you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to keep it down because everybody's in bed.
Crank it.
I'm very rusty.
Only one way to get unrusty.
Huh?
Play. Only one way to get unrusty.
Yeah, exactly.
Play. Comes back.
There's a little demonetization for you.
Very good. Very good.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You just chased the soy away. That was beautiful.
It's great.
It's awesome.
I saw you playing too, Clint. I know you can play.
Yeah. I play. I don't.
Is that guitar behind you? Is that fixed or is that still broken? Or
no? That's the fixed one. It was a good excuse to buy a new one.
Nice.
Essentially, down to my last guitar. I used to play a lot, man. I used to gig, and play in bars all the time and stuff. But
cool.
It got to be not fun anymore, and we were never making money. So yeah, it just wasn't fun. So I stopped. But yeah, I played a little bit myself. It's fun. It's enjoyable.
I played
a little rusty as well.
Update the Allegiance Arts page real quick.
Oh, here we go. Share the screen.
I bet that video sold some. I guarantee you.
Guaranteed it.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting there.
Yeah, all right.
488 backers. Who is it going to be that pushes this over the top? There is a hero in the chat. I'm sure of it. I'm sure.
Thank
Clay,
you.
I need
Thank
a
you
hero.
for whoever did that.
Stairway to heaven.
Stairway.
You guys can hear that? I'm not even looking.
It's very quiet. Oh, I thought you turned it down a little bit more.
I can play some. Oh, hang on.
Some grungy distortion.
I'm trying to turn the distortion down.
There you go. Weezer.
Ooh, I did it wrong.
Yeah,
wrong spot. It's in there somewhere. See, I'm
it's been a while since I played that.
But where I'm at on the fretboard, I'll have to figure that out.
I can do the second part, but I don't know if we could sync it up very well.
No.
Nor do I know if we're in tune either.
Oh yeah, feels good.
There you go.
There we go. Beautiful.
Nope. I never played any bars, but definitely played in garages. This was one of our songs. So
Ethan, is that an Alterna book you were just holding up?
uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I got my box of Alterna too. You're gonna hand them out at Halloween?
No, I'm actually going to keep them all. But yeah, no, they send you the giveaway calendars. I might do that. I might do it. But yeah, I've been going through and reading all of the Alterna books, and I really like. There are about 3 of them right now, 3 different titles that I really, really like. So,
Awesome.
great stuff. Good artists, good writing, and they feel like disposable comics. You know what I mean? It's like they feel like the 80s again. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. I know Peter's he was watching. I don't know if he still is. Say hey, Peter, if you are. But yeah, that's another. It's like just cool seeing these other publisher. Allegiance is one, all caps, Alterna, like just alternatives.
Everybody's got to try different things.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's like I was saying on Twitter today. It's like you got to support Allegiance because they're trying something new, and it might be the way we all end up going. So everybody has to. Anybody who's trying something new and who's trying to push the boundaries of independent publishing. Comicsgate has to come behind and really like support them and give them the funding that they need, to be able to do it.
Isn't it nice to be taking action into your own hands as opposed to you just waiting for the big 2 to save you? You know what I mean? That's what it just felt like for so long. And I don't know, it's just cool seeing all these things. People are working and trying.
We're like
certainly
off.
Yeah. Well, we need to control our own destinies.
That's right.
Well, yeah. I mean, if they're gonna ruin the stories in the mainstream, like let's become the new bards and tell our own.
Well, we write the destinies of the heroes. I mean, not only do we write our own destinies, but we write the destinies of the heroes that all these people are going to imbibe in, right? And so, in order to write a real hero, draw a real hero, or present a real hero story, you kind of have to be a little. I think you got to have a little bit of that in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
Vaughn, what's your ultimate plan? Do you have a plan beyond what you're doing right now? What are you thinking?
It's starting to formulate as I get closer to finishing the book, but I'm still trying to figure out what my next book is going to be. But I'm thinking website, start to sell my products and start small, let it be small, and then do another book and then have more product and just start building from there and see where it goes. Unless the right publisher came to me and was like, "We need you." But I don't know that would ever happen. I don't expect it to, so it's not my plan.
Your book right publisher. Sorry.
I think the 2 of you are sitting in this room. I couldn't name.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. It could be one of you guys for sure. I don't really think about the mainstream as being an option. I mean, maybe if they wanted to. I mean, hopefully they wouldn't get too much pushback because I'm kind of a nobody. So like hopefully I'd fly under the radar, but if I didn't, they'd be able to deal with whatever pushback they got. Before I started working with Marco and crowdfunded Monster MD, I sent an old version of it to Peter Samedi in the early days before everything kind of blew up. And he said he really liked it, but he said, they had stuff like that. So they were going to pass on it. And I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, man, I'm leaning towards indie publishers and trying to build something with someone else.
Well, so we start a bidding war right now, Ethan. I think you're going to win. So,
I'm keeping my eye on a bunch of comic skaters right now. I mean, Vaughn's definitely one. Cal's another. It's like there are some really, really good writers and guys with good ideas, great artists. As well, but I mean, you gotta watch these guys closely and see what happens. With me, everything's just gonna happen organically. I don't know if I have a plan or anything. I just we'll see what happens. That's kind of my thing.
Well, I try to always have a plan, but I mean, it's like going to war. It's like as soon as the first shot is fired, it's like whew, the plan goes another way. But you kind of have a general direction. You want to go. And you're where true north is.
Right. Yeah. And I haven't even really bothered in doing the whole imprint thing but it kind of feels like, man, I've got so many things I want to do. Like I've got to kind of get my stuff together and go that way. But yeah, there's I don't know. It's just cool because you don't need anybody's permission. You can just do it. You know, that's the amazing thing. And YouTube has been a huge part of that. I just, for me personally, like the fact that I have this whole group together right now is just because of a YouTube. I started a YouTube channel. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's been incredible. I mean, what an awesome tool. And you know, we're still figuring out how to harness it, you know, and but yeah, making all these relationships and meeting some new people, meeting some really nutty people, but the dust settles, you know, and everything filters out in the end.
Yeah.
Refresh Futures again, please. I'm sorry. You know,
no, you're good.
That's what I like to watch.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, refreshing again. So close, 98%. 490 backers, 99%. Who's the hero? Somebody's out there.
I'd say 3 more backers and we're good, or one super generous backer is going to knock us out of the park.
Wow.
And we're closing in on 500 backers too, which is a pretty great number as well.
A great number.
So if you want to be gunned down, you could be the hero. You know?
You would be a hero, yeah.
be the hero.
A dead hero.
How much to get whipped by Kelsey? That's in real life.
Those services he barters on his own, and I don't negotiate those.
There's another campaign for that.
You have to travel to Baton Rouge, and I don't, you know.
So some people might do it. I mean, Kelsey's got a cult following. You never know. But yeah, look, we're $239 away, guys, from getting this back. And obviously, Clint wants this to happen on his show. I would like it to happen on my show, but it's, you know, Clint could probably get it to happen on his.
Yeah, we're so close. This is such a victory. I posted the moderators posted. I don't know what to do.
We're gonna do this.
Everyone should back. I bet you there are 3 people out there.
So, you know, I bet if I could pitch Bass Reeves, we can sell people, because I think once you hear the Bass Reeves story, it's kind of hard to say no to that, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So does anyone know about Bass Reeves in the chat? Well, some of you may. Obviously, Eric does. But anyway, Bass Reeves came on my radar about 6 years ago. He was written about as a real historical figure. He was written about in the Arkansas Times. And my dad gave it to me, and I couldn't shake it. I knew I had to do something with it one day. So he was born a slave in Tennessee, and was sort of became like a horse trainer and a sharpshooter and sort of his master's attaché or whatever you called that. And then he ended up in the Civil War at his owner or whatever, master, whatever it was. I don't know what you call that. It sounds so flagrant and offensive. Went off to war with him, and around the Battle of Pea Ridge, Arkansas, they got into an argument, and he punched the fella in the face and stormed off and made it all the way into Indian Territory in Oklahoma, where he lived out through the war and a little bit after, learning several languages and learning to be a tracker and a scout, and afterwards made his way into Fort Smith, Arkansas, where he became a tracker and a scout for money, obviously, for law enforcement, for U.S. Marshals during Reconstruction. And so that was Fort Smith, Arkansas. If you remember the movie True Grit, that's it. True Grit was the time frame. It's the same place, the same judge. Judge Parker was the known as the hanging judge from that movie. A lot of famous characters kind of came through Fort Smith because it was the largest in the world, the largest piece of territory to be policed out of the courthouse in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And so Bass Reeves, basically, it was pretty desperate. It was a violent, overwhelming place because that's where all the criminals would go, right? I mean, you get in trouble with the law, you went into Indian Territory where, you weren't you could hide out essentially and carve out another life. So it was full of bad characters, but Fort Smith was the edge of civilization, and they were tasked with protecting it. So Bass Reeves became the first African-American U.S. Marshal deputized by Judge Parker. Well, just first African-American U.S. Marshal in general. So historic. And he went on to make over 3,000 arrests, which is the most arrests in history World record still holds. He was a deep man of faith, and obviously had great respect for the law. He was a very stoic individual and a family man. And he had many kids. And if you go and read his Wikipedia, which you all should after this chat, you'll find that he actually had kind of a traumatic or tragic family life, and 2 of his children ended up being criminals themselves. One of them a murderer, and Bass had to hunt down and arrest his own son and bring him to justice. So baked in the story is a man who is conflicted between duty and family and faith in such a tragic and dramatic way. I couldn't believe that no one had ever told this story before. Well, I think it's been told in a couple of comic books, maybe it's been told in it's been told in other places, but not like this, and not this way, and not in this grand style that I believe is being accomplished with Kevin Grievics and David Williams. So that's the man, that's the myth, that's the legend. He's been kind of whitewashed out of 20th century Hollywood with the rise of the Western TV show and serial and films. But he inspired many characters like Django. And some say he inspired the Lone Ranger as well. But he's inspired many of our heroes that we might recognize today.
Well, it's safe to say that Antifa would not like him. They would not approve. You said he was...
no, they wouldn't know what to do with Bass Reeves. And I don't think he'd care for them too much either.
You're going to do it, Clint. You're going to do it. 129 to go.
Close.
You're going to do it. Somebody's got to hand this win to Clint right now.
There's some heroes. Yeah. I will clip this the moment that it goes over the line. It'll be remembered in Sweetcast history forever.
God Allegiance Arts funded. That's huge.
Yeah.
I'm going to refresh this again. It's people are rising to the challenge.
Oh my God, dude! $75 away.
So close.
Make it happen. The next big backer is going to push this over the line. So who's our hero?
One signature tier will do it.
Yeah, with shipping. Yeah, one signature tier. Someone's got that.
I love it. I couldn't be more happy about this. A great night. Let's go, guys. Get it done.
Yeah, and we got to spam that chat too. I'm going to be posting links.
Let me share this out again. I need to let people know.
Do it. Yeah, I'm really excited about all 3 of these stories. It's cool to see just absolutely professional level stuff coming out from a new indie publisher in comics.
Yeah. So and hey, Bass Reeves is lettered, by the way.
Yeah. Finished today. We got your invoice. So.
Yep.
That's great. Great. Bass Reeves is finished. How close are these other ones? I mean, they're substantially close, right?
Yeah. Nora's Saga is 3 pages shy. The Futurist is half colored now. And there's inks and pencils in progress, and I can't remember exactly where they are.
Cool. Let's see. Are those 3 stories going to be ongoing? If so, how often will they be released? That's a question from Ron Crossman. They will be ongoing. What's the... Yeah.
It's they're 6 episode seasons, and then we're taking a break. So look for each one of these stories is intended to be 6 issues long as a season 1. So that's all kind of built in. Red Rooster too. It's the Golden Age is 3 issues, and we're gonna break that out into 3 separate issues later, and then it'll follow up with 3 more, and that'll complete season 1. And so hopefully all 4 of these books will stand on a shelf side by side in season 1 and 6 issues.
Nice. Yeah, Matthew Fowler in the chat says Idris Elba should as Bass Reeves would be dope.
Yeah,
that's right.
It would be. You need somebody very stoic and with a lot of gravitas, so he could definitely pull it off.
For that to happen, though, this has to be funded, and then everyone's going to be wanting a piece of that Bass Reeves action. Hollywood.
We're gonna get this thing funded, and then we're gonna.
There we go.
There it is.
Boom!
You did it.
All right.
Awesome.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Wish I had a beer.
Congrats.
Magnificent.
Woo. That's awesome.
All right, so we got a month to get this thing to 6 figures, guys, and we're going to do it. Now we're funded, and let's get this thing up where it needs to be, about $100,000. Congratulations. Congratulations to everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome.
We'll push this and let people know. That's all it is. I mean, you know, all of this is just about letting people know. And that's the question. How do you let people know that we have great comics like these that are for sale, that are available? You got to get out there. You got to talk about it. You know, you have YouTube channels. I say that, you know, comic skaters support each other. Comic skaters actually promote each other. That's vital. That's vital to this little club. Everybody needs to be out there retweeting, talking about each other. And you know, as much as you give, I think you should be able to take back. So, or you know, or the other way around. So, get out there and talk about Futurist, North Saga, Bass Reeves, and Allegiance Arts, and then we'll support your campaign too. That's kind of the way it's got to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. Is just the network of indie creators and well, not just creators and customers alike. That's what's so special right now in indie comics, and what makes the right climate for something like this to happen. It really is. It's kind of amazing to be a part of it. I've looked at like Image Comics history, and just like watching how it all went down. I think, oh, it's so cool. That would have been fun to be like a fly on the wall, or just experiencing it, like in, you know, with what was going on. The cool thing now is this really is a very historic time in comics, indie comics, and it's broadcast. You know, everyone can see it and be a fly on the wall, so to speak. So it really is. It will be remembered for sure. All right, cool. I'm so excited that this got funded. Awesome. I'm gonna refresh it again just for fun.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you, whoever pushed us over the edge there. That was awesome.
You are a hero. Awesome. Mitch, anything else you want to tell us?
It's very open-ended.
What's it like working with Blake? What's it like working with Blake? I want to know.
I want to know about your hoodie too. That needs an explanation.
That is gorgeous.
Is it made out of
King of the North? It's a robe. It's a robe.
Awesome.
Elizabeth bought these for us last week. She's got one too. So we have matching. I think they're made out of. They look like a giant chinchilla. No, working with Blake is awesome. Yeah. She's very professional, and she's very. She's just very professional. She's very skilled at what she's doing. She's a team player. She takes things in stride if there's an edit or a change or a suggestion, and she's passionate about making a better product. So if there's a revision or whatever, she leans into it and does the work, man. I mean, that's all you can really ask.
Great.
Nice. I got to say too, Matt Fowler brings up a good point. This is huge. The fact that so Indiegogo should promote it more now that it's over 100%. That is real.
Yeah, and I should have probably put it a little lower, but 25 is I think a decent ask and realistic.
Yeah, you got there, and it makes sense. I mean, that's it's 3 comics you're talking about, 3 creative teams, so. Yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, I love that it's funded because it helps out for sure. Yeah, and not only that, but it seems like a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I should back this, and then once it's over the edge, they want it more. There's something psychological
knowing that it's done, knowing that it's reached its goal. Sometimes makes it easier for some people to back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
knowing that they don't like miss out or whatever. Yeah. So
very cool.
The refund or whatever.
So why Allegiance? Where'd you come up with that name?
So not like a real fancy story or anything. So our partner in this initiative, he had a consultancy business, and it was called Allegiance US, and he still has it. But and it was just that it worked, it fit, and I had this little eagle logo that I'd kind of been chipping away at. For a while, and it fit together, and it was like, well, we can be Allegiance Arts, and I think it works, and we tested it around a little bit on people, and it resonated, and it just stuck.
Nice. That's a better story than how I came up with the name Sweetcast. That was like,
well, go. You got to fill us in now.
No, it was just like I made a YouTube channel so I could talk about politics or whatever I felt like talking about at the moment. And I was like, I just need a generic, like whatever, that was free. And for some reason I had candy on my mind. So like Sweetcast. And now I'm stuck with it for
I like it.
It's so unfortunate.
Well, it's
so Mormon, Clint.
Mormon.
It's so Mormon. Clint and I are both LDS, so we would say that it's like sweet, sweet.
It is.
I hear there's a
very Mormon.
I hear there is a sugar
we
problem.
We need to get you a new story
community.
for that.
There is.
I really do.
There is.
How about just this? SJW called you Sweetie a lot, and you were like, "Okay, I'm the Sweet Cast." I thought that was your name all this time, and you just shattered that for me. Like I was like. He called himself Sweetcast because they call him Sweetie all the time because they're weirdos. That's cool. He's got balls.
Yeah.
Let's do this, white Mr. T.
I like your branding. I like your branding a lot. I mean, it works with your candy. Yeah. It's the same thing with Red Rooster and Cyberfrog. We can use these frog and rooster emojis, and you've got the candy emoji, and it works with your brand. It works. And you're not pigeonholed into one specific thing. You know, you can move
a little. It tests well with moms who play Candy Crush.
Right. Right. It was
money.
One happy accident how everything worked out. But yeah, there was a while there towards the beginning of my Twitter experience where because it was Sweetcast, people would call me Sweetie in condescending ways, because at first I was trying to reason with SJWs, and then I've learned better since then, but they call me Sweetie, so I put that in my profile, is that SJWs call me Sweetie. So it was my goal to always get them to call me Sweetie.
I call you Sweet Tea.
I could have Kelsey call you Sweetie.
Kelsey can call me whatever he wants. I love it. Yeah, Eric does some good memes. He did the sweet. Somebody told me I'm the white Mr. T. Yeah, so he made that happen.
Oh my god, dude, that is not. Dude, you do look like the white Mr. T.
Okay,
let me find it.
Gonna see it.
You need a feather earring. Somebody send him a dangling feather earring.
Yeah, Eric did it. Pull it up, Eric. Yeah, he did
Halloween costume confirmed.
I know. Gotta get some change.
Just don't go Justin Trudeau on us.
No, don't do that.
Yeah. Oh man. We
should have a Comicsgate Halloween special. We should. And everyone in different costumes.
It's a good idea.
I was thinking about going as my monster doctor.
I thought you were going to say going as your mom.
We could all go as our creations on Halloween and have a big stream. I'll break out the rooster mask.
I'll dress like Joanne.
Here we go.
Eric can just turn his hair into a flying fortress. He's got so much awesome hair.
Yeah.
I could be the flying nun with his hair.
You know what we could do though? I mean, if we planned right now, we could do a Halloween special for next year, an actual comic book.
Yeah,
that would be
crossover
amazing.
Thing.
You
gotta be kidding me.
That's amazing.
I pity the gentleman.
It was so great. I read the comment from the last comment section and put it in my video and did this little bit trying to be funny, and then Eric threw it right back at me. It was pretty good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm like, I am balding, but it looks totally worse on camera too, because you only see the front. It's pretty great.
I love it.
Yeah, the other thing is Eric's working on Downcast with letter. Well, he's done lettering. He's doing the pre-press and some of the, I don't know, other pages, the thank you pages, stuff like that. And he showed that lettering page on Twitter too, where it says it's all the credits and then it goes lettering, and it's like in 85-point font, lettered by Eric Weathers, back Flying Fortress, something like that.
Yeah. This right here. It does not look like this. It should, but it doesn't. So.
Nice.
What is this?
It is the ultimate power as a letterer. Love it. Awesome. Well, I don't know. I'm just pleased that this was funded. So.
It was a great success. Yeah. I had a great time.
Anyone see the Star Wars trailer, or are you trying to wrap up?
I haven't seen it. I mean, I just
YT.
What was the major takeaway, Ethan? What was the big reaction?
Well, I think that people, and by the way, I didn't notice this, and my chat was howling and screaming at me. But at the end of the trailer, you see Rey sitting there looking boring, and Mark Hamill's voice comes over and says, "The Force will be with you," and then you hear another voice go, "Always." And I went, that's Mark Hamill like inflecting. And no, everybody's like, that's Princess Leia, you idiot. And I'm like, it doesn't, like, they got Leia saying always, and it doesn't sound like Leia to me. And I listened to it 100 times. I said, no, that's Mark Hamill. And they're like, shut up, you like yelling at me that I didn't get the feels from that one moment. Listen to it and you tell me, does that sound like Princess Leia to you?
It's old Leia.
It doesn't sound like Princess Leia, but it does sound like Carrie Fisher at the end of her life.
That's a good way to put it.
That's I think sadly people were saying, but I don't know what Carrie Fisher at the end of her life really sounded like.
She was like, hey. Like her voice was gone. Like as she was, she'd be like, hi, how's it going? Like.
So in Star Wars,
you're my only hope.
Being a Force ghost doesn't resurrect your vocal cords, huh? Like you still sound like you're a smoker in life. You're a smoker as
or it's creepy. It's creepy, and that because she wasn't here to make this new film, so they had to cut it always from the other film, or they had an actor come in and play her for that one word, and that's why it doesn't sound right.
Wait, but we know that when you're a Force ghost, you re-age because of the recut and the special editions with Hayden Christensen in the finale of episode 6. Episode 5.
In some cases. Not in every case. Not in Obi-Wan Kenobi's case. You know?
Why is this very inconsistent?
CGI.
Lucas
maybe
messed
it's
with
the Metachlorians.
I believe you now. Everybody in the chat is going, it's Leia, you idiot. I believe you now. I went to Twitter and everybody's crying over it. And I'm going, I get it. I see. I missed it. It doesn't sound like her to me. And it sounded like Mark Hamill doing the whole thing and then just kind of doing a little extra inflection on his voice. But now I believe you. And now I'm moved and I'm going to cry. Okay? Are y'all happy? How dare you?
I got to say, it's hard for me to hate on it because I'm excited. I'm always excited for new Star Wars. But I didn't get the feels on this one like I did when I saw the Force Awakens trailer. I was like, oh man, we're back. As everybody was. And then I didn't watch anything for The Last Jedi because I wanted to go in with blind and not make that mistake anymore. So it's all the leaks, all the spoilers, 100% for this one. But I gotta say, when 3PO was saying, "I'm gonna look at my friends one last time," I got a little. It pulled on a small heartstring on me. As much as annoying 3PO is, there was something in it. Thought, man, they're gonna blow him away, aren't they?
He's gonna die.
Yep.
Now I'm going to say goodbye in over 6 million languages. Here's the thing about me and Star Wars. It is so ingrained into me. See, when it came out on VHS and you still couldn't get it. You had to rent it. My dad went to the video store, which back then they weren't Blockbuster. They were like these weird sweaty closets run by like a guy in a Black Sabbath t-shirt, people who really loved movies ran these little stores. He bought Star Wars off the guy so I could be like the only kid on the block who had it with $350 1980s money. And he brought it home, which back then that was a big deal. Like you didn't just have any movie just sitting on your shelf. We had Star Wars. So it was the, original inspirational hero's journey for me as a kid. It's like become one of my myth and legends. So when I watch these new trailers, yes, of course I get chills and feel something, but it's not the type of chills that you get from being excited for a new movie or something. It's me. It's just my love of Star Wars just kicking out a little bit. And when I saw this new trailer, my impression was it's doing enough to make enough of the older fans go, all right, I'll see what happens. But it still, I think, has lost a lot of us. And I think it'll make enough money, but I don't think it's going to make as much as they hope. But I think it'll make enough to like get by. I still hope though that we make a dent because I think what they're doing to Star Wars is a disgrace. We could talk about that for a million, other videos and channels. But
and we will.
We will. But
I think it's our job to create to take this the next leg of the journey. To be honest, as creators, I really think it's our responsibility to take everything that we learned about the hero's journey, storytelling, myth making. That's what captivated us all with this stuff when we were kids, man. I mean, I burned my copy of Empire I burned it out on the VHS. I mean, it was totally ruined. Totally ruined. I watched it so many times. But now this is in us, and we have to. It's our job to do this for another generation with new characters and new stories and new. There has to be a recycle of heroes.
Absolutely,
I agree. I've been thinking about that, and sometimes I go, am I being arrogant to want to put that kind of responsibility on myself or think that I'm good enough to step up to that? And it doesn't matter if I'm arrogant or not. I just want to do it and to give and entertain people and build the new myths that we can appreciate in the future,
Yeah, it's like I like you didn't know if none of us are really worthy of doing it. It's just we're the ones in the position to do it. And we got to do it because somebody's got to fight that war. Somebody's got to do it.
Right.
These stories have to be told, and they need to be refreshed for the kids again, like for the new generation. Like they're not getting that hero's journey like we got it. So like I have 2 young kids at home, 2 young boys, and I'm not like, hey, here's the new Star Wars. Here's Indiana Jones. I show them all these classic things. There's nothing new.
Yeah.
That
you even want to rewatch. Like that's the big thing. I think the original trilogy, my grandma's house, whenever time I went there as a kid, it was so boring, but they had the Star Wars trilogy in the basement. And so we've discovered it down there on VHS. That's the first time I watched it as a kid growing up. And we would just, every time we went to grandma's house, we would watch the next movie and just go through them, repeat. And I still want to rewatch them. But all the stuff now, like I even think like I enjoyed the Marvel movies, but I don't really care about going back to rewatch them. That says something. There just doesn't exist.
Yeah, no.
And you know what's really messed up is people are trying to say that these new movies aren't for us. Like as if the idea of like universal heroes and myths and legends just somehow passed us by. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, these movies aren't for you. Who are they for? Like, who are the miserable people that these things are made for? It seems like they're made for you. You make them for yourself so you can brag at dinner parties. Like they're not for the people anymore.
Yeah.
No
argument there.
Strange.
I just found the trailer interesting because the whole set. You've got these characters that are lifeless and that I don't feel invested in, kind of traipsing through the corpse of the original trilogy. And there's one scene, you have to take it apart piece by piece and look at it closely, as you make a video. But every piece of it is, look at this, refresh it.
Yeah, let's refresh that.
Okay, 25.95, not bad. There's a scene where they're fighting in the throne room, in the Emperor's throne room of the Death Star. And, I made a joke, like, I want to fight Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers on the Titanic, like I want to raise the Titanic and fight him on it, to the death. It's like, look, they're literally showing like the death of Star Wars. That's what it's about. It's about the death of Star Wars. How much can I take of that? I'm not sure. Gallows humor is going to carry us through this. It's awful.
Yes.
It's just awful.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
As long as I don't leave the theater angry, like I did with The Last Jedi, they will have done all right. Because I left Last Jedi angry.
See,
I was cringing.
I think a lot of people are going to still go see it with that attitude, but I'm not going to see it. It's over for me.
I'll wait till it comes out on DVD. I think I just can't watch it in a theater. Let's see. We got a super chat from Snowtap. He says, "Look at me. I'm a super chat. Haha. Hee hee ho ho." But in all seriousness, what an interesting cast tonight. Hopefully about the future of comics. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that super chat.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's a nice. definitely nice. Yeah, and I don't know. How does Star Wars? Everyone.
Somebody in the chat's like, "Good Lord, what a depressing lot of dweebs you all are." Falcon of Poda. My goodness. They're forces.
We're just being honest.
We're being honest. They're forces that work on us to make us depressed.
Right.
Did you see that trailer? Good Lord. All right.
I haven't seen it. You guys want to watch it? I pulled it up.
Yeah, let's do it. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it yet.
Why not?
All
You're going to make me cry.
Now that I know how to share audio, Eric, everyone watch Eric's eye very closely.
Is it trying to start twitching?
I'm all dried out from the weekend. I'll be honest.
Here we go.
Jump scare.
It's gonna say looks like Jurassic Park.
Her diaphragm fell out.
Feeling.
I see that. Okay.
Not alone.
Lando.
Rose. Oh my lord.
Rosie cheeks.
That's a cool shot.
People keep telling me they know me. No one does. But I do.
What for you, my
So
love?
soggy.
Look, that's Cloud City frozen over. That is pretty cool.
Oh wow,
That's cool.
And now you're coming together.
No white males here.
It's your undoing.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir. At my friends.
Of course it would. It would have more impact if he was literally.
That's a cool angle.
Confronting fear. It's the destiny of a Jedi. Your destiny.
Space ponies.
Yeah, but
Look at this. Look at that.
That's cool.
Destroying Darth Vader. There's the Emperor.
The Force will be with you.
Always.
well. I gotta say, the visuals in there were some nice visuals, and I think part of it is the music too. You know, but
John Williams
is it me, or did the music feel bigger than it ever has in any of the trailers for the new movies?
They
is it
turned
always
it up
that big because it's Star Wars?
Yeah,
it seemed like
normally the trailers start out a little softer, and this one, like it was a little bit.
There's some great visuals, I have to say. Like that was one thing about The Last Jedi that I just didn't feel. There weren't a lot of memorable visuals. In this, it's like it did feel epic because it had those so many wide, just shots of planets and the ocean and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It was cool. I still don't know how they're going to fix the story though. Like I don't see what would happen.
It depends on what the story is, and my belief is that the story is about how Skywalkerism replaces Jediism, and that's it's Luke Skywalker's word, his values, are going to take over and become the new faith of the galaxy, and so that's what Rise of Skywalker means. It's not going to mean Luke is going to come back. It's not going to mean anything about the family lineage. It's about Luke Skywalker as Brigham Young, or as as Moses, something like that, or even as Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
that
would be the log. I think you're probably right.
Yeah,
especially if you're familiar with like Joseph Campbell stuff. That's where it's going to go. It's the spiritual. Yeah, I agree with you.
I saw the Mandalorian trailer recently, and that looks cool. Actually, I kind of want to see it.
Like a Western. Like that looks cool.
Isn't that what Star Wars is really? It's a Western in space.
And it's in right hands. It's Jon Favreau. I like it.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's definitely good news.
Got another $5 super chat from Snowtep. Thank you very much. He says, that feminist who was screaming no when Trump got elected, that was me in the theater at The Last Jedi end credits. No, not my proudest moment. Sure there's video footage of that too. It was the election for everybody else.
that was our 2016 election.
Right.
We'll never get over that trauma there.
There's still, it's a different kind of derangement syndrome. Awesome.
But at least we can laugh about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Right,
and move on.
What do they do after the 3 movies? Like it kind of rounds off the trilogy. I mean, Disney's not one to just let it lie. You know what I mean? It just feels like they want to exploit more. What do they do?
Disney Plus. I mean, they've got Mandalorian, they've got an Obi-Wan series, they've got a Rogue One Cassian Andor series. They've got plenty. But in terms of films, yeah, we might see 10, 11, 12 in 10 years.
Knights of the Old Republic.
I love that. Oh my gosh, that'd be so great.
That's the plan with the from the Game of Thrones guys.
Yeah.
For real? You're not joking? It's the real thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yeah.
But they're making,
I'm sorry.
And Kevin Feige's got his movie coming as well.
Mm-hmm. So, no, we think Ryan Johnson is being told to back away slowly to prevent a PR crisis, which is great. He's no longer allowed to say, like before he was like, yep, I'm working on it. And now they're saying, stop saying that.
Yeah.
Which is pretty great. You know,
I'm saying we're a lot of conversations are happening, but not any definite yes, it's still happening.
Yeah.
There are like I handed my wife a stack of 3 books called Heir to the Empire. And I said, read these because this is the real sequel to Star Wars. And she's finishing up the 3rd one right now. And we were just talking after the trailer, we were just talking about the differences between what Timothy Zahn had written as the follow-up to our hero's journey in Return of the Jedi and what we got, and just how different it is. And she had a lot of good insight about like character motivations and stuff. She gets really annoyed when characters don't act in character. And she was really turned off by The Last Jedi as well. So one of the things that I would like to see is some form of these things being brought to life. I know they threw all that in the garbage can when they wrote their $4 billion check, but you know, there are stories that I would like to see in some form, whether it's live action or TV show or animation or something, but like seeing Shadows of the Empire come to life outside of a video game and a comic book, I think would be really neat.
Yeah. Okay.
How much of it is marketing? I somebody sent me a video, I think it was earlier today, and I've thought about this a little bit, but it's almost like it happens so frequently that there's a specific movie made and it's almost intended to be an insult to some, you know, population. Like they want it. It's like the Ghostbusters revamp. It was the kind of the same thing. Star Wars. I just keep seeing it happen over and over. The Joker, same thing. I don't know. I can't think that it's an accident. Captain Marvel, it's another great example where they're trying to get picked up as being controversial in the culture. And I don't know. It definitely gets people talking about the movies. So if you have that kind of power, why wouldn't you do it? I don't know. My conspiracy theorist, they did it on purpose.
They definitely. I think there's a confluence of things. In my opinion, I think some of it is on purpose for sure. I think in the case of Captain, and like this is mildly conspiratorial. So I don't know. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying this is maybe what I think might be true. I think with the Captain Marvel stuff, because she was so sour. I think her firm, her rep firm, did all this. I don't know if it was necessarily the movie people. I think the rep firm crafted for her an image that worked within her identity, but like they took a gamble and had her make all these kind of controversial stances, maybe with the blessing of the production company. I have no idea, but I think they were behind it. Whatever that, I don't know. That's just me spitballing. But
I just discovered something quite randomly. I don't even know how I saw this, what I was looking at in the news, but something about Brie Larson had a breakup not too long ago with someone, and I wonder if that had led something to that sour face. But I also do think she was picked out not for her, just for her talent. I think it was mostly about the face of feminism, which is what they wanted Cap to be, and she already had a history of being kind of nasty to men, like openly on Twitter and stuff. She was already controversial for that tweet about, can you believe the guy on this airplane asked for my phone number, and like freaked out. Like the feminists were like, there's that strength. We don't see strength. We see that as annoying or whatever, silly, angsty, too nasty, whatever. But, yeah, they picked her out, I think, because of that sourpuss, and I think she lived up to it. So there could be credence to what you said, Mitch.
Think about the money. It's about the money. So you consider that, but then consider the money, because she got paid a ton of money, and I think who else stood to benefit the most? It was the agency. So they negotiated for her a very, very, very high rate for that film, and I think they did it on the backs of the political and social climate of the time. And I think, obviously she was part of her personality anyway, and they just leaned on into it and capitalized on it. I think it was a money move. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Did it make that moment too, the girl power moment in the Avengers? It made it feel different. It made it even more cringy for me. It would have been cringy no matter what. And I hope everyone knows what I'm talking about, where all of the female characters come in at one moment just to pose, while they're fighting Thanos. It did give it a little bit more cringe factor to me, because there's the history. I don't know, the context. There we go.
Yep. Spice Girls.
Spice Girls.
All right. We all struck a pose.
This would be the mustache. Right.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Well, yeah, close enough. Well, that sounds like a really great way to end the stream. I do have to get to bed. Appreciate everyone coming. Mitch, the man of the hour, congratulations.
Well, thanks for having me on. Appreciate you guys.
Congrats.
Great talking to you in person. Or kind
likewise.
of in person.
Are you wearing fur, Mitch? I wanted to ask.
It is fake fur, faux fur.
I admire that tremendously.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's a baller move.
It's beautiful.
Nice.
Make an impression.
Great to have you on as always. The social lubricant. We're gonna stick that with you. That's what you are. Eric Weathers.
I try.
Welcome. Great. And Ethan, it was so great to have you jump on. It's always great to talk to you.
Thanks for letting me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Man,
all right.
It's been great talking with you guys. Thanks for having me, Clint. Sweet Cass, sweetie. I'm gonna call you sweetie.
Sweet Pete.
Yeah.
Everyone does now. Well, SJWs do. So you can too. Why not? All right.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Good night. Bye-bye. Thank you.